Hi, this is Lauren Engel of Sidewalk. Talk to him here with Orri, who does artist development for Monstercat. And I'm just starting this whole new series where I have people who are at the top of their industry to explain what it's like working behind the scenes, and also ask a ton of questions on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram of what you guys really want to know. So I want to make this series super informative for you guys. And we have Orri to kickstart it. So the first video that we have is what it's like to work at a record label. And then the second one is more about you being an artist. A lot of people who watch Sidewalk want to be producers and just how they would get into Monstercat and deal with all the demos and everything. And the third would be more Monstercat specific, because I got so many questions on Monstercat, so we're just gonna separate that into different
expected,
yeah.
I got into Monstercat about 6 years ago, so it's been a very long time that I've been with the company. Initially, I was just sort of DJing and trying to get involved in the local scene in Vancouver, British Columbia, which isn't much of a music scene, but there was some really cool stuff happening in dance music back then, and the city was really starting to feel it. And I think that, you know, when the Monstercat team moved from Ontario, which is on the east coast of Canada, to Vancouver, there was just this small little scene. So I connected with them pretty much immediately when they moved out there. I knew nothing about Monstercat. I'd maybe seen, you know, the visualizer on YouTube, but didn't really connect with the brand early on. And I sort of came into the company just doing some very like basic day-to-day work. They brought me on for a week just to assist with some stuff in office, and I never left. And so, you know, over the years, I've kind of grown through a bunch of different roles at the company, supporting the music team, working with artists, handling marketing, socials, and now I'm kind of in this role where I get to really go kind of hands-on with our artists beyond the individual releases that they do, and kind of work on like year-long, 2-year-long campaigns, and crafting, you know, how we develop these artists both within our community and outside of it. So my take on a music internship is really, you know, oftentimes a company is looking for an extra set of hands, or 10 extra sets of hands. And so it can be a great place to enter if you are a like motivated self-starter type of person who can go in there and make a profound impact. But I also feel like, and I personally don't have much experience, and we don't do this too often at Monstercat, so I can't really speak to that as much in terms of interns. I feel like as an intern, you can sometimes get lost in like the noise of the company. You know, your voice isn't often heard, and I think that that's really a shame, where you have these people who are willing to kind of like, you know, pour their hearts into this role, and oftentimes, you know, the compensation isn't even there because they're so passionate what they're doing. And I think that, you know, companies who are bringing on interns need to really pay attention to this like resource that they have of like young, hungry, passionate people. What I think is actually maybe a better approach, and it's something that we do sometimes at Monstercat. You know, we have a job listings page, and we also have like an idea submission page. And so I'd actually be much more impressed with somebody who doesn't just submit a resume, but submits like an idea or a project that they'd want to work on. And you know, I think that as a company, if we can see somebody who brings like, you know, amazing passion for music, amazing passion for whatever project it is that they really believe in, you know, that to us is kind of like a low risk opportunity to see like, hey, you know what, let's give this person a shot and see what they can do. And so I'd say don't undervalue your ideas, you know, as an up and comer in this industry. You might be thinking of things or seeing things from a very different lens than people at a record label. And that's valuable to the people at the label. I personally did not go to music business school or any sort of music focused education, so I can't necessarily tell you if it's worth it or not. What I would say is that, you know, the music industry landscape has changed so much over the past 10, 20 years. What you read in a textbook, or what you're learning from somebody maybe from a different era of the music industry, maybe not even connected to dance music, is incredibly valuable, but you also need to understand that like it may not be 100% relevant to what's happening today. And even, you know, since I started at Monstercat, it's a very, very different landscape, and we've kind of had to evolve and grow over the years to adjust to that. So, you know, is the degree that you're going to give you necessarily the day-to-day skills that you need? I mean, that's determined by the program and who's teaching it and what the materials are. But I would say that like the overall fundamental lessons that you learn in music school are universal and they are valuable. But what's most valuable, in my opinion, is the people that you meet in a program that you take. So, you know, if you're taking a program with 30, 40, 50 other people, that's potentially, you know, a handful of people that can be your peers. Those are the people that you can get started with, start a company with, bounce ideas off of. I always say, you know, for every musician that's in school, there's a graphic designer that's in school. There's somebody who's trying to get into marketing. Somebody who's trying to learn the publishing side of the business. So, you know, it's not just about going to school and then going to a company like Monstercat and getting a job. You know, you can actually start something of your own with your peers who are kind of coming in at that same point as you are. And then that's when you're going to do crazy things that no one's done before. You know, if you're just leaving university and going straight into another company, you kind of fall in line with what that company does. When we started Monstercat, nobody had a clue what the music industry was or how it worked. And it shows in some of the choices that we made over the years, you know, but I think that's amazing. That's how the model gets broken. That's how people innovate and do new things. And we're blown away, you know, every day when we see kind of what this next generation of the industry is doing. And it's really inspiring for us. And I think if anything, that makes you as a, you know, prospect hire like more exciting for us when we see that you're going out there and doing something like unique and novel of your own. Then we really want to bring you into our company so that we can kind of work with you on these new ideas. I think when looking at, you know, the impact of a post-secondary education, university, college degree, it depends on the role. You know, so if we're hiring somebody for our accounting team, absolutely they need to be, you know, certified to be an accountant. If we're hiring somebody to work on our graphic design team, I mean, we're going to judge the quality of their portfolio before we look at what degree or diploma they have. But it's a really competitive world out there. So when you see somebody with a degree, it basically indicates that like they have committed to completing something. And that definitely speaks to a candidate. You know, if you're applying for our A&R team, you know, I don't really know what kind of schooling outside of music production would benefit you in that space. I mean, I work a lot on the A&R team. I don't have formal music education, but we do have people on the team who have that. So I think it's really a balance, and like ultimately it's an incredibly competitive space, and you just want to prepare yourself to be like the best version of you that you can for the job. And if that means, you know, a degree, then that means a degree, but it really is dependent on the individual. An ideal employee. It's tough. I think a record label means so many different things in 2019, and we're only going to see that evolve further. So from Monstercat's perspective, you know, we're a company of almost 50 people. I'd say that's pretty rare for an independent record label, but that isn't necessarily what it takes to be a record label. There's some amazing teams out there we work closely with that are, you know, 4 or 5 people, or sometimes one person running this label. And it's really about, you know, how many hats you want to wear and then what are your expertise and things that you can do with a big team or a small team. So when we look to hire somebody, we really want to see somebody who's passionate about music. Now, as a 50-person organization, you know, you can't always ask the accounting team to be passionate about music, you know, but I think that everybody from all walks of life, all ages, all parts of the company, big or small, need to understand the space that we're in, especially in the music industry. It's not always just like a 9-to-5 job. So yeah, just understand the culture of dance music, respect it, even if you're not crazy knowledgeable about EDM or Monstercat or any kind of music that you're working with, being open and understanding.
Thank you guys so much for watching, and of course for Orri.
Thanks for having me.
I know, it's been so fun. I've learned
keeping me hostage all day.
I know, we filmed like so many hours, so you guys please watch all 3 videos. But I've learned so much from today too.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was
like
a lot of fun.
just so informative. And if you guys have found this really helpful for your careers, just share it to your friends or whoever you know that's wanting to work in music industry, no matter where they are in the world, or producing, or just huge fans of Monstercat. Just feel free to share like any of these videos that we filmed today.
Perfect.
Yeah.